we're going to play a little clip of Rachel Reeves telling us how strong the economy is.
I know that there is more to do. The cost of living crisis continues to affect families right across our country. I understand that and I hear that. But despite the challenges that we face, our economy is strong.
Our economy is strong, she says. You just have a look at the people standing behind her who clearly don't believe a word of it, because the economy is not strong. Just to check it out, we talked to our favourite statistician. He is, of course, Jamie Jenkins down in Welsh, Wales. He's going to tell us whether the economy is strong or not. Jamie, very good morning to you, man.
Good morning, Mike. Yeah, if the economy's strong, it's built on sand, I think. That's what we've pretty much got, Mike. Right. Rachel Reeves talking absolute nonsense as usual.
Yes.
How's that Danish pastry, Mike?
It's pretty nice, actually. You know, I thought the break was longer. That's why I took a bite out of it. But anyway, never mind that. Listen, by any measure, you know, I couldn't believe it when I was watching, you know, what we call the mainstream media. I made the mistake of doing. Occasionally, I do it just to wind myself up. I watched a bit of the BBC News. I watched a bit of Channel 4 News last night, and they were all going, "Oh, the economy's grown faster than everybody thought." You know, 0.7% in the first 3 months of the year before the national insurance problem kicks in. You know, 0.7% is nothing. It's not growth at all, is it?
It's not much, and when they're saying it grew more than expected, I think what was expected was 0.6, so it's not exactly jumped off the charts.
Yeah, it's hardly a massive rise, is it?
It's not at all, Mike. And then obviously that's the kind of the figure when you just look at the overall economy. When you start factoring the huge population growth, the actual growth of the economy is lower when you look at it per head. But just pick up a couple of things here, Mike. What this covers January to March. It's not the period we're living in now. Is kind of going back because obviously they've got to wait for the data to come in. And we think some of the data would have been artificially boosted because Rachel Reeves' job tax is coming in April time. Right. So some people might have brought forward some business. And we've got more up-to-date data from the ONS, which looks at what's actually happening to people. Because, you know, economic GDP doesn't really mean much to a lot of people. The main things to look at are job statistics. And what we've seen in the last kind of week or so, Mike, is that 47,000 payroll jobs were lost in March. Yeah. Another 33,000 lost in April as the national insurance.
Wow, those are quite big numbers, aren't they?
Yeah, so firms are cutting back, Mike. Labour's jobs tax is hitting the economy, and that will probably be seen in the next set of data. And this is the choice the government took. They didn't need to put up tax. Everybody was saying, you put a cost to the employer, that will have an impact on jobs. And what it will do as well, Mike, if we go into the next 6 to 12 months, is because taxes have gone up, there's less money swashing around with the companies, so wage growth will slow down as well. So the economy is nowhere near strong. She's talked about it turning a corner. The only corner they're turning is going round in a circle back to where they started.
Yeah. And the biggest problem, I think, for the government is that they keep borrowing money, not to pay off a debt, but to pay off the interest on a debt. So it's literally like if you were, you know, asking me for, you know, money to pay off your credit card, you're actually not paying off your credit card, you're just paying off the interest on the credit card, and you still owe the money that's on the credit card.
Yeah, well, imagine a household, Mike. So say, for example, you know, you go to your bank and say, well, I know I've borrowed off you for the last 10 years, and I know I've got a huge debt to give you, but can I borrow some more? At some point, the bank's going to declare you bankrupt. Yeah. And that's pretty much where the UK is. You know, successive governments for decades have been borrowing money. It's racked up a huge debt, over 100 billion in debt interest. That's the kind of stuff that could be going on investing in the country. And it's just the way the country's being run, Mike, not just by Labour, but by the Tories before, then by Tony Blair. You go all the way back. People today are paying for the debt that has been built up over the last 50 years. And they say the economy is not turned the corner. It's trundling along. These job vacancies are down as well, Mike. That's another indicator. So that's a good way of looking at consumer confidence and business confidence. Job vacancies are down, and that means that firms are cutting back. And Reeves is just not giving us the true story when she's ignoring this economic data to try and paint a good picture.
No, and also one of the things she keeps saying is that we're going to be one of the best and fastest growing countries in the G7, and we're also doing an awful lot better than the rest of the countries in Europe. And then you go, well, in that case, why do you want to go and rejoin the European single market, which is kind of what they're going to probably sort of prepare themselves to do next week when there's a European summit going on in London?
We don't need to be joining back the European single market, Mike. You know, that Europe has been trundling along, that the world economy has been trundling along over the last decade or so. trying to align ourselves closer to the EU is just a smack in the face to everybody who voted for Brexit. And that's ultimately, they're going to pay for it at the polls, Mike. Obviously, we've seen the rise of reform, and ultimately they're going to need to disangle themselves more from Europe. Talk of, I think, Nigel Farage and the ECHR with all the migrants coming over on the small boat. So I think closer ties to Europe is not the way to go. Europe relies on the UK as well, Mike. So we've got a good relationship with them. We don't need formal kind of deals to do with with Europe. We just need to get on with things.
Yeah, absolutely right, Jamie. Good to see you. We're a bit short of time this morning, partly because I've been ranting and raving on too much. But there we are. Thank you very much. And he's also eating a Danish pastry. Thank you very much indeed. Good to see you.